Hey, what's up guys, I'm Suman from Rs.15 and in this video, let's take a look at the top 5 best smartphones that you can buy under 15,000 Indian rupees. So this video is strictly meant for those who want to upgrade or are in immediate need of buying a new smartphone. Now, since this is the beginning of 2020, not many new budget phones have been launched and there are few from Honor, but the thing is that we really don't know how they perform, so I am really not in a state to recommend those. But the devices in this list are amazing devices and you can definitely go ahead and select the ones that you like. So if you guys want to see new videos with updated list or newer smartphones, then definitely make sure you subscribe to Rs.15. So I am going to be making a new Instagram page for Rs.15. So if you guys are interested, definitely make sure you follow me there too. And the link to that will be in the description below. So make sure you check it out. The first device on this list is the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So here are the specs. So as for the processor, it runs on the Helio G90T, which is quite powerful. It has 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, which is also expandable. Now as for the display, you get a 6.53-inch Full HD display with support for HDR. Now as for the camera, you get a 64 megapixel quad camera setup, and as for the front camera, you get a 20 megapixel camera. Now in terms of the battery, you have a 4500 mAh battery. So the main selling point for this is that this here is meant for gaming. Yes, even though people might think MediaTek processors are not that great when compared to Snapdragon, the truth is that the Helio G90T is a very powerful processor. In fact, you can play games like PUBG, Call of Duty on high settings at high frame rates without any issues. Now this has a 4500 mAh battery. Now that helps a lot when it comes to supporting your game. It will help you play games for a longer time because the battery life on the Redmi Note 8 Pro is kind of good. And even the cameras on these are no slouch. With 64 megapixels, the images are quite good. So the next device on this list is the Samsung M30s. Now as for the processor, this runs on the Exynos 9611. It has 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, which is expandable. Now as for the display, this comes with a 6.4-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display. Now in terms of the camera, you have a 48 megapixel triple camera setup and a 16 megapixel front camera. Now in terms of the battery, you get a huge 6000 mAh battery. Now the advantage of the M30s is that this is an amazing media consumption device. Now the AMOLED display on the M30s is like very good. Watching movies, playing games on this is going to be a delight on the M30s. Now if you are a person who's looking for a really powerful battery, or rather say a battery which will last long, then the M30s has you covered. The 6000 mAh battery will definitely last you for more than you actually think, and with fast charging this huge battery is kind of decently fast. And don't get me wrong, you can also game on this because the Exynos 9611 is quite a powerful processor. The next device on this list is Realme 5 Pro. So the specs are as follows. It comes with a Snapdragon 712 processor. It has 6 gigs of RAM with 64 gigs of onboard storage, which is actually expandable. Now as for the display, this comes with a 6.3-inch Full HD Plus display, and as for the camera, you get a 48 megapixel quad camera setup, a 16 megapixel front camera and a 4035 mAh battery. Now the thing about the Realme 5 Pro is that it is 1000 rupees cheaper when compared to all the other devices on this list, and this here is quite a good balance between price to performance. The Snapdragon 712 is of course fast. It has 6 gigs of RAM, so multitasking is not going to be a problem. You can actually play games on this without any issues. Maybe you might need to crank down the settings a bit, but other than that, the performance on this is also going to be good. Now the 48 megapixel quad camera setup is quite decent in my opinion, and there are many reviews, so make sure you check those out. Next up, we have the Vivo Z1 X. So this comes with a Snapdragon 712 processor, 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, but the storage is not expandable here. Now as for the display, you get a 6.4-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display. It has a 48 megapixel triple camera setup with a 32 megapixel front camera, and it comes with a 4500 mAh battery. Now the thing about this device is that this here again is meant for entertainment, and it also serves the purpose of taking really amazing selfies. Now if you're a person who takes a lot of selfies, the 32 megapixel camera will definitely help you. Now yes, I know megapixels are not everything, but with 32 megapixels you will definitely get some detail that you can show off to other people. Now with Vivo, you'll get all those other enhancements which will also make your photo taking experience better. That is, if you like all those. Next up, we have a famous device known as the Poco Phone F1. Yes, so this comes with a Snapdragon 845 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage which can be expanded. Now as for the display, you get a 6.2-inch LCD display with a full HD plus resolution. Now as for the camera, you get a 12 megapixel plus 5 megapixel dual camera setup, and the front facing camera is a 20 megapixel camera. Now in terms of the battery life, this has a 4000 mAh battery. Now the main purpose of the Poco Phone F1 is to game. No matter what you say, the Snapdragon 845 is the most powerful chip amongst all these smartphones. And the thing is that if you're a person who doesn't care about the camera, the build, the display, how rich the images look on display, then you can definitely go with the Poco Phone F1, because this here is a beast when it comes to gaming. You can throw any game on it and this will handle it like a champ. So again, I'm telling, I included this phone because under the 15,000 range, this here is one of the best smartphones, especially in terms of gaming. Yes, it lacks in many other departments, but if you're solely into the gaming world, then this will not disappoint you at all for the price. So these are the top 5 best smartphones that you can buy in India under rupees 15,000. But wait a minute, I have 3 honorable mentions, and those are the Mi A3, Vivo Z1 Pro and Oppo F11. So these phones didn't make it into the list because there are few things that are not really good on these smartphones which consumers at the end of the day might won't like. But don't worry, I'll have all the links to even these devices in the description down below. So again, not only these 3, the links to all these other 5 devices will also be in the description. Make sure you check them out. So thank you for watching, and this here is Suman signing off once again. Catch you later.